but many to come. It's not just between the players, but also their machines. Sweat, not in the jerseys, but in their gears. It's about the race this time. Show up to cheer for Mumbai. Yes, it's me, and no, it's not cricket. But it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between two teams, but many to come. It's not just between the players, but also their machines. Sweat, not in the jerseys, but in their gears. It's about the race this time. Show up to cheer for Mumbai. Yes, it's me, and no, it's not cricket. But it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between two teams, but many to come. It's not just between the players, but also their machines. Sweat, not in the jerseys, but in their gears. It's about the race this time. Show up to cheer for Mumbai. Yes, it's me, and no, it's not cricket. But it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between two teams, but many to come. It's not just between...
One race to go this weekend at the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship, certified by FIA 2023 at the all-new Kuwait Motortown circuit in the beautiful country of Kuwait. A brand new location for motorsport on the world stage. This brilliant facility, built in 2019, designed by the F1 architect Herman Tilke, and it really is joining the plethora of amazing race circuits around the world. This place can cope with anything you want to put on. Drag racing, rallycross, drifting, karting, sports cars, prototypes and single-seaters. As long as you've got a bit of a petrol head passion, you're in the right place. Kuwait Motortown has 20 brilliant corners around this fast and flowing frenetic race circuit. Fast straights, long wide apexes, good overtaking spots, chicanes, elevation changes and long sweepers. This race circuit really does have everything. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here once again for the third race of round 2 of F4 UAE 2023. There are 38 drivers once again preparing for battle on this epic race circuit, and James Wharton has bagged pole position for the third and final race of this first visit to Kuwait Motortown. We're staying in the country as we continue on our journey for round 3, because we'll be back here for more race action on Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. So do not think for a moment it's going to be a long pause after this one to the next F4 UAE action. You've only got to wait another 3 days. It's going to be a brilliant battle as we race for the victory for the 3rd encounter. But let's see what happened in race 2. So after an epic fight yesterday that saw James Wharton pick up the race 1 victory, he was always going to have it tough to eclipse UAE a second time. When the lights went out, we had a great start from the front row men, but unfortunately further back, there was chaos. Kanato Lee stalled on the grid, leaving poor Jacob Bergmeister nowhere to go. A separate incident first way round the lap meant that Hugh Yamakoshi would retire, but fortunately Kanato Lee and Jacob Bergmeister were okay. The race was stopped and then restarted. 3 wide down to turn 2. UAE hanging on from the one by Falcons of Tuka Tarpanen and James Wharton. It would take quite a while for James Wharton to take on his Finnish teammate. Arvid Lindblad was throwing his elbows out there to try and battle with anyone who'd take him on. Teofil Nal took the bait, decided he wanted a piece of the action. But there was great dueling between UAE and James Wharton. This mistake from Ugochukwu opened the door, and the Australian found his way through to take the lead in brilliant style. But later on in the lap, the roles would be reversed, and a carbon copy of the same battle and the same manoeuvre. Ugochukwu returning to the top. There were great battles in the midfield as Hamir Al-Kubaisi duelled with Will McIntyre, and several more big names took their plaudits for what is already being described as the race of the season so far. But Ugochukwu makes it 3 wins out of 5, and the American now leads the standings by 35 points. Can he do it again in race 3? It's going to be a very tough challenge for the American from second on the grid, but James Wharton is on pole position. Valerio Renicella and Tuka Tarpanen are going to be chasing him down once more, but James Wharton is down on the grid talking to Feline Wang.
Hey James, how much worried are you about the pressure from behind at the start?
I think for me it's just about getting the best start I can and working hard to get away, because I know I have the pace to go. If I made a mistake earlier, it's now time to fix it and get the win.
Have a good race. Yeah. 那么呢，他也提到呢，他现在用到的是一套心态，所以说呢，他又希望呢能在这一场的比赛当中能有一个更好的表现。Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Feline Wang. We, of course, speak also Chinese on this broadcast because we are also transmitting to CTVS out in China. Hello to all those of you watching there. But we are here ready for an exciting battle in the F4 UAE Championship. Interesting to hear from James Wharton there. He knows that obviously in the previous battle they made a bit of a mistake off the line, didn't quite get the opportunity to go for Ugochukwu. Now the roles are reversed. He's the one who's being hunted down into turn 1, and he actually said to me yesterday, well, the best place to actually start the races from is P3 rather than P1, because obviously you can follow in the wheel tracks and the slipstream of the car in front of you and then go for the move. So James Wharton, with a qualifying lap yesterday of a 1 minute 53.594, was able to put himself into pole position for this race. There's a lot of pressure on the young Aussie's shoulders coming into this one. Ugochukwu lining up alongside him though on the front row of the starting grid. Hello to everybody who is watching, and no matter how you are choosing to watch, whether it's via the Facebook page for F4 UAE Championship, also on the YouTube streams. We know there are various other streams going on around the internet as well to tune in. Please do send your questions my way via the Formula 4 UAE Championship YouTube stream. I'll try and pick them up as much as humanly possible. It's going to be a really exciting battle for all of the contenders. Seamless Shelf 35 wants to know, when does the race start? Well, in about 5 minutes. You haven't got long to watch to wait for the start. It's going to be a really exciting challenge. Here is Ugochukwu, championship leader, 35 points clear of his nearest opposition, which is now James Wharton, who has moved into second position in the Drivers' Championship after a fabulous run so far. He's on 70 points, by the way. Tarpanen is on 61. That is the Finn Tuka Tarpanen, who is part of the Ferrari Racing Drivers Academy, their newest recruit. Valerio Renicella is just 5 points back from him on 56. Arvid Lindblad, despite retiring from race 5, is still right up in the hunt on 54 points. So it's going to be a really interesting battle. Valerio Renicella, the number 61 car, MP Motorsport, right there on the second row of the grid. Loving these questions that are coming in. Dragus Wash wants to know how many cars are there in F4 UAE 2023. Well, this weekend we have 38, would you believe? An amazing quantity of drivers and cars, and it definitely makes things pretty exciting. For this weekend, there are just 38. And there are an amazing waft of nations competing as well. I'm fairly confident that we've got 18 different nations on the starting grid represented. There is Tuka Tarpanen, the Finnish competitor for the Mumbai Falcons racing team. The super renegade to come into this sport. Don't forget that this is only his 6th F4 race. It is absolutely sensational to see just how well he is doing. Excellent job so far. Now, Anket Singh Pardeshi wants to know, how much is track temperature important from the morning compared to the afternoon? That's a really sensible question. It is a big difference here, because even though there is high winds and cool temperatures, there is a big difference between the morning race and the afternoon race. Because obviously this morning on the starting grid, the main straight was actually hidden by shade because the sun was behind the grandstand, so the main straight was quite cold. Now, of course, we've had a couple of hours where the sun has been out, and it has been bright and clear today, so the temperatures on the track are going to have risen probably by a good 15 to 16 degrees Celsius. So it's a very different setup that they're going to need off the start compared to the race that we saw this morning. Good question there, mate. Thank you very much for that. Nick Meister wants to know, does Ugo Chukwu have a helmet design, or is this his only helmet? No, I happen to know for a fact this is a very special helmet design, and you're looking at it, that Ugo Chukwu has. He just keeps it plain silver with a microscopic American flag next to the visor. It's in tribute to his hero, Mario Andretti, who of course kept a very simplistic helmet design back in the 70s and 80s, and even through to the 90s in his IndyCar career. And this is very much Ugo's own personal homage to Mario Andretti. It's very much in keeping with the simplistic tradition. And I tell you what, it really does stand out. Simplicity is all the rage these days, because you get so many of these rather over-the-top helmet designs. They look spectacular. The artwork and the paintwork is extravagant, but you really struggle to tell one helmet apart from another now because they are so complex. So it is a really nice touch that Ugo Chukwu has just gone for simplicity. You know who it is. It's the plain silver helmet. It's Ugo Chukwu, and you can tell him from a mile off. So the competitors are gearing themselves up, ready for the start. 39 competitors from all around the world here competing in the F4 UAE Championship. So this is such an incredible battle that awaits us for the third race of the weekend, the 6th race of 2023 F4 UAE. 15-second board goes up, and for James Wharton, the mission really begins. He has not started a race this year from pole position. This is where things get really tense. Green light goes up on the starting gantry. The formation lap begins. So they will go around to warm up the tyres and brakes to optimum temperature to get ready for that big run through turn 1 on the first lap, and then that big break down to turn 2. Here's the grid. James Wharton for Australia and Ugo Chukwu for America. Valerio Rinicello and Tuka Tarpanen, the Italian and the Finn, on the second row of the grid. Zachary David of Malta and Jessica Rasquedo of Mexico on row 3, the teammates. Noah Lyle for XL and Keanu Alazari for Yazhi on the 4th row of the grid. Then it's Federico Rifai and Dion Gauda that share the 5th row of the grid to round out the 10. Teofil Nal, 11th on the grid alongside the Japanese driver Hia Yamakoshi. Then Kanato Lee, 13th on the grid alongside Denmark's Noah Stromsted. Then we have Akshibora lining up alongside his teammate Valentin Klus. Row 9 of the grid sees Will McIntyre and Arvid Lindblad, the high-tech teammates, way down the order. Then Hamdi Al-Kibaisi for Yazhi alongside Mohammed Ibrahim in the Mumbai Falcons car. Nicola Lacorte is alongside Alexander Alcazava on row 11 of the grid. Then Bianca Bustamante lines up beside the French new boy Raphael Narak. James Bezique is in the high-tech alongside the Scotsman Sebastian Murray. And then row 14 of the grid sees Lena Bula line up beside Alexander Bolduev for XL Motorsport. Row 15, that's Flavio Olivieri on 29, and on 30 is Matteo Quintarelli. Then Georgi Janavsky is beside Theo Jensen, XL versus Santaloc. Then we have Emily de Reus for MP Motorsport alongside Jack Beaton, all the way from Australia. Jacob Bergmeister lines up on the back rows with Luciano Morano alongside him. And on the very tail, it is Kai Darianani and Victoria Blokina. So let's see how the drivers are going to pitch their way further forward. The back row of the grid taken up by Kai Dorianani, one of the newest faces in world motorsport, and Victoria Blochina, who continues to make good progress. I should point out that there is a massive spread of competition between these 38 drivers. There are no slouches out there on the course. They're all very talented competitors, right the way down to Clyde Dorianani, who is still very new to the world of motorsport, was gaming in his home, managed to get very similar to the pace of pro racing drivers when he was at home on iRacing. And somebody decided, you know what, this is worth keeping an eye on this boy. They put him into a car only recently. This is his first time in proper professional motorsport. Despite a few karting races here and there and some sim work time, this is his real first test. No wonder he's towards the tail, but he has not been last all weekend. He's still making good progress. So there are some amazing young racing drivers in this field. A brilliant body of men and women. 38 of the best young talent from around the world. Some of them leaping into a car for the very first time this season, having been racing in their regional, national, and even international karting competitions. Now they are ready to take on the world in cars on a brand new venue. We had race 1 yesterday, race 2 earlier this morning, and now race 3 is pretty much ready for the start. So, the competitive nature. Elvis wants to know on YouTube, do the drivers have radio communication back to the team, or is it not so necessary with such a short race length? The latter. They're not in radio communication as far as I'm aware, but they do have an amazing battle ahead of them. Time to see how the competitors are ready to go. 38 competitors from all 4 corners of the globe. North and South America, as well as across Europe, across Asia, across the Middle East, and all the way to Australasia. Some great competitors. There is Victoria Blochina, who will take the final place on the grid, having some difficulties in the second qualifying session. She was a few places up the grid before the previous sessions. So let's go racing for the 3rd time. F4 United Arab Emirates Championship Race 3 2023, and it's going to be James Wharton versus Yuga Chukwu charging down to the braking zone for turn 2. Watch for the men behind them. It's going to be another epic battle as we race for the 3rd time in Q8. Now! Great start off the line. Good opportunity from James Wharton. No problems at all for Yuga Chukwu. Rinicella's going to run him a close second as the field knits away from the grid. Everybody moves this time, and so they run down the drag strip straight up towards turn 2. And already there's a big bit of banter up the front end of the field. It's side by side as Wharton goes wheel to wheel, but Yuga Chukwu is trying his best to squeeze both Wharton and Rinicella, and there's a little bit of contact. Rinicella is nudged there by one of the Mumbai Falcons. It looks like Tarpanen, and Yuga Chukwu's gone! Yuga Chukwu has gone off at the hairpin! The championship leader is down to the back, and it's one of the XL cars that comes through. It's chaos! Absolute pandemonium! The Mumbai Falcons appear to have tripped over each other. That is Tuka Tarpanen. Tuka Tarpanen is slow and crawling. My goodness me! We couldn't have had it any more dramatic if we tried. But up at the front end of the field, it's an XL motorsport car that leads the way through all the pandemonium. And there's more cars going wide. It looks like the Rodin Carlin of Dion Gouda has dropped to the back of the field. Arvid Lindblad getting very loose in the midfield there. So some big names have gone already. Oh my goodness. Yuga Chukwu has dropped back. So too has James Wharton. And someone else is in trouble towards the sharp end of the field. Looks to me like one of the Prema machines. But we've already had the Prema of Yuga Chukwu dropping right the way down to the back of the grid. Safety car. So the safety car has been called. So it looks like we've got 1 or 2 cars stationary around the course. My goodness me. A really tough situation. And Yuga Chukwu down at the back of the field really makes things intriguing. If Gordon could remain over the front end, let's have a look at what happened. A bit of a nudge there between Tarpanen and Rinicella, but what happened on the inside? Yuga Chukwu gets the nudge from Wharton. So, two big incidents. Wharton and Yugachukwu touch. Tarpanen and Rinicella's touched. So that's the big four names in this field clashing on the first lap. Now Yugachukwu has rejoined down at the back of the field, but this is big drama. And all of a sudden, we've got a very different order. Now, we need to see what the situation is from the front end of the field behind the safety car. So this is a very strange race. Well, we've picked up Noah Lyle, who appears to be leading the race. So that is fascinating, but Noah Lyle appears to be leading. Zachary David is now second from Teofil Nile and Jesse Carrasquedo. So Rifai is in 5th position, Valerio Rinicella is down to 6th, then Dion Gauda, Valentin Klus, Keanu Alazari and Noah Stromstedt. None of the championship contenders are in the top 4. In fact, they're not in the top 5 because Rinicella is in P6, Lindblad is in P11. Looks as though Will McIntyre has had to come into the pits on this first lap. Yugachukwu is down in 32nd place. James Wharton has dropped all the way to 19th. And I'm fairly sure that we've also had Tuka Tarpanen. Has he come into the pit? No, Tarpanen's actually parked it. That's the reason we're under safety car. Tarpanen is out of the race. So Tarpanen's car is the one that's being recovered. So I'm afraid Tuka Tarpanen is out here in Q8. Wow, this championship really has had a sledgehammer go right up the middle of it, just in that one corner. Yugachukwu down at the back, Tarpanen out of the race, Wharton out of the points, Lindblad just out the points, and Rinicella in P6. Now, obviously, hang on a minute, it looks as though we've had a front wing go flying. A front wing's just come off somebody's car in the middle of the field there. Not entirely sure whose that is. Well, either that or they've just pitched somebody else's front wheel right off kilter. But certainly Tuka Tarpanen is out of this race. He is the one that's not come back through. So a disaster for the Mumbai Falcons car. We're not entirely sure where he's parked up, but we certainly know what happened to him. So we all saw that one on the replay, and we saw it when it went down. So now his car needs to be removed, but Noah Lyle is suddenly in the lead of this race. 3 very intriguing races so far in F4 UAE, and this one has barely got going at all. But Noah Lyle, the British driver for XL Motorsport, suddenly finds himself in the lead. Second is Zachary David for the Philippines. Well, he actually carries the Maltese flag, and he is based out in the Philippines, of course. Teofil Nile, 3rd position, the Frenchman. Then Jesse Carrasquedo, Federico Rifai and Valerio Rinicella. There are some long faces on the Prema and Mumbai Falcons pit walls. This has not gone well at all. Dion Gauda, 7th. Klus, 8th. 9th is Keanu Alazari, and 10th is Noah Stromstedt. There is an investigation going on, we are told, for the number 19. That is Bianca Bustamante for overtaking under safety car. That is unfortunate for the racer from the Philippines. I really hope there's no penalty coming her way. She is tucked up behind James Wharton at the moment. Wharton is currently in 19th place. But that has really changed things in terms of how the battle is likely to fare from now on in. So many competitors out of position. Lyle is your leader, David second, then Nile, Carrasquedo, Rifai, Rinicella, Gauda, Klus, Alajari and Stromstedt. If you've only just joined us, you have missed a first lap where the big 3 championship contenders have all gone off the road. Yugachukwu is down in nearly last, 31st position to be precise. Oh, make that 30th actually, because Bolduev pitted as well. So Yugachukwu is all the way down in 30th position. There is one of the XL cars leaving the pits. Now that is Alexander Bolduev. So Bolduev gets back out onto the circuit again. He's now got to catch up to the rest of the field. Safety car is in this lap as well. I didn't think it was going to be out there for long, so Bolduev's race has just restarted. So So this is going to be a really interesting situation now. The safety car is in this lap, so can Noah Lyle control the pace of the field? He's now backing everybody up. Who's going to get the victory in F4 UAE Race 3 in Kuwait? This place is really starting to provide lots of excitement and drama. So when will Noah Lyle drop the hammer? He's still weaving for the moment. Now he's gone for it. Noah Lyle drops the hammer. Here we go. Coming up to the final turn. Valerio Rinicella's got to be patient and wait for Federico Rafai to negotiate the final turn before he makes his bid to come through. Bit of a mistake from Teofil Nile, but here we go. On to the main straight, and it's green, 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 green once again at Kuwait Motor Town. 15 minutes plus 1 lap to go, and Teofil Nile is trying to shake off Jesse Carrasquedo through turn 1. They blast their way through. Racing resumes, and up in the lead. No problems at all for Noah Lyle. He's got Zachary David behind him, and here we go, swarming around for 3rd and 4th. This is Teofil Nile dueling with Federico Rafai and Jesse Carrasquedo. Rafai's on the far side. Nile is defending on the middle of the course. Rafai's up to 4th. Carrasquedo down to 5th. But can Rafai hold it on the exit? Because Carrasquedo's putting his nose in. Just about held on to that. Lindblad trying to work his way forward, following in the footsteps of Dion Gouda. Gouda's battling away. Oh, that's one of the Mumbai Falcons working the way through. That is James Wharton diving through on the inside of Alexander Abkasava. So he gets through past Abkasava. And so they continue to draw their way through on the far side of the hairpin, looping through. That's Lindblad in front of Will McIntyre, I do believe. And Kanato Lee is in the mix there as well. Fascinating charge forward as they continue to duel. Car 18 is under investigation for overtaking before crossing the line. That is Luciano Morano, having made the move on Kai Daryanani. There's the move from the number 10. That is the Mumbai Falcon, Mohammed Ibrahim, battling away with the... It's one of the... it's going to be one of the cars, I think, from RHGP. But they're out of position somewhat. Mohammed Ibrahim... Oh, and up and over the top goes Bianca Bustamante. Tangling, I'm afraid, with the R2 race carousel of Lena Buehler. Well, that's gone terribly wrong for Bustamante and Buehler. Their races are over. So I'm afraid the Swiss and the Filipino have crashed out on turn 18. So that's 2 races that are over and done with prematurely. Lyle is your leader. Oh, no, Lyle is not your leader. David is your leader, apparently. We didn't see where that happened, but Zachary David has got through into the lead of the race in front of Noah Lyle. And there is the proof. Zachary David leads the way for Malta and the Philippines. Dual nationality, Teofil Nile trying to come around the outside of Noah Lyle. The Frenchman working hard, hasn't been able to get there. Has got to be careful because Federico Rafai is trying to get through. Not going to happen. So Zachary David leads. Teofil Nile trying to come by. Careful, Teofil. Really ran the curbs there. So Rinicella is the sole championship contender in the top 5 of this race now. Lindblad has worked his way into the points though. But Teofil Nile, has he got through? No, it's Federico Rafai he's in front of, not Noah Lyle. Now let's have a look at that incident between Bustamante and Buehler again. You can see Bustamante going for the move, but Lena Buehler chops across, just catches the rear wheel. Very easily done. And I'm afraid Bustamante and Buehler are out of the race. And it's a safety car. We are called for a safety car. Very unfortunate indeed, but Bustamante and Buehler's cars are in dangerous positions on the course. So it is a safety car. And so the field has got to slow themselves down once again and wait for the wreckage to be recovered. Bustamante's car is still there. Looks like front left damage to the wheel. She can't get out of the gravel there. But Lena Buehler has already recovered and gone back to the pits to retire. So this is still very tough for the drivers to learn their racecraft in cars. You've got to remember, most of these drivers have come fresh out of karting to get into this kind of world. So this is a really interesting situation for the youngsters to learn about the complexities of wheel-to-wheel racing on the job. And there is Lena Buehler's car. Lena has already long departed it. but I'm afraid she's not going any further today. She'll have to regroup and get ready for the next races at Kuwait Motor Town, which will take place on Tuesday and Wednesday. So Zachary David has now all that work that he had built up to get a little bit of an advantage over Noah Lyle, well, that has all gone. So Zachary David leads the race. Noah Lyle is now second. Teofil Nile is in third position from Federico Rifai and Valerio Renicella. Valentin Klus in front of Jessica Rasquedo, Alazari, Gouda, Lindblad, and then Kanato Lee out of the points in 11th. There's Bianca Bustamante getting out. Very unfortunate that she is not able to complete this third race, but she's done a much better job overall here in Kuwait than she did in Dubai. She's really getting the hang of this F4 car now, and she's in a brilliant team, Kramer Racing, so she can really make progress. So this is a really tough situation, leaping in from the world of karting to cars. It's a very different discipline. There's Bianca Bustamante walking away. Is she holding her wrist there? I wonder if she ended up... Oh no, she's just taking her gloves off. So very unfortunate that Bianca Bustamante now has to watch the rest of the race from the sidelines, but she seems okay. So there we are, a very tricky situation. So Zachary David and Noah Lyle are the leading cars. Teofil Nile in third position, then Federico Rifai. Oh, and into the pits comes Jacob Bergmeister. I think they've got a pushrod problem on the left front. I'm not sure that car's going any further if that's the case. Jacob Bergmeister just has to sit and wait for the diagnosis. What can we do? Can we keep racing? Can I go back out? Will I be safe to go back out? Can I do it, or is it game over? I think Jacob Bergmeister is just being told what the situation is by his crew. But if that push rod on the left front is bent, there's no way that car is going to get a safe turn in on a decent trajectory through the course. You can see the mechanics going to work. Just trying to diagnose the situation on the front left. Just checking to see how much of an input the steering still has. The field is now passing the main straight, but Zachary David is doing his best to push it forward. Now, for those of you who are wondering why the race shouldn't just be red flagged when there's an incident, because there's less race time, well, you've got to remember, the drivers are told in the driver's briefing how they need to behave. They need to obviously take that into consideration, and for a lot of competitors there is that sense of urgency and there is that sense of desperation, and the stewards eventually get to the point where they say, well, no, we've given you repeated warnings, you're not listening, you're not obeying the rules, you're still getting into these incidents, so it's you guys that will have the race taken away from you. You'll sit behind the safety car and you'll learn your lesson. So that could also be the reason why we're not red flagging it every single time. Now, incident between car 19 and 15 is under investigation. So 19 and 15, that is, of course, Lena Beulah and Bianca Bustamante. There is Bustamante's car being... There is a note on my timing screen, an investigation for overtaking under safety car, and that is number 39. That is Hugo Ugachukwu. The championship leader may be about to get a penalty for overtaking under safety car. That is huge. As if this race couldn't have got more dramatic and controversial. The championship leader may be about to get the book thrown at them for overtaking under safety car. Oh my goodness me. Well, that is a big whelp. Safety car is in at the end of this lap. So, clearly, that's going to have to be looked into later. But Hugo Ugachukwu, the championship leader, is under investigation for overtaking under safety car. You couldn't script this, you really couldn't. So on the restart, Zachary David now has to back up the pack. This will be the first time he'll ever have done this in an F4 car from the lead. He would have done it a few times in his karting career before, but it's a very different skill. There'll be 5.5 minutes to go when we go racing again, pretty much, plus the additional lap on top. Now we get to go racing. One more time with feeling. Zachary David has already dropped the hammer. Was that a bit too early? Trying to catch out Noah Lyle and Teofil Nahal, and they're right with him. So out of the final turn, we're about to find out just how intense this third and final race is going to get. Here at Kuwait Motor Town, it's green, 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 green. We're back into the action again. Zachary David, Noah Lyle, Teofil Nahal, flat through turn one. Here we go. Rifai, Rinicella, Klus, Kadashkedo, Al-Azari, Gouda and Lindblad. So up to the hairpin, and it's already side by side. Noah Lyle pulling level with Zachary David, trying to beat him to the braking zone. He squeezes, he's got to give him a little bit more room. He's going to try and go round the outside. Zachary David holds it. Teofil Nahal trying to get the undercut. Noah Lyle chops across. Don't even think about it, sunshine. They drop through the corkscrew. And now up through that long flowing hairpin. Oh, a couple of cars going off the road there in their bid to try and stay in the trajectory of the car in front. Very easy to lose traction. A couple of cars running wide. I think one of them might have been Mohammed Ibrahim in the Mumbai Falcons car, but I also think we had a little bit of a trip up from Noah Stromsted in the PHM. So a couple of cars running off the road there. You can see Yugo Ogachukwu trying to work his way back up through the pack. He's made it up to 24th, but there is an investigation for him overtaking under safety car. There's also an investigation for Noah Stromsted for shortcutting at turn 4 and gaining an advantage. So there's big conversations going on in race control today. This is going to be a really interesting situation then, as the cars continue to make good progress. There's a little bit of a twitch in the middle of the field as Ogachukwu tries to make up another place or two. But this is definitely the race where his consistency finally falls apart. The only comfort he can have from this race now is that there's problems for Wharton, there's problems for Tarpanen, there's problems for Lindblad, and even Rinicella is not going to be on the top 3 if it ends like this. Here we go, Lyle versus Nahal. Noah Lyle, the British driver, versus Teofil Nahal, the Frenchman. And Teofil Nahal has got Noah Lyle Ryan completely lined up through turn 1. He's going to get to the slipstream, no problem at all. And as they run down to turn 2, side by side, Noah Lyle is drawing in front, hugging the inside. Watch for Rinicella, who's already got up in a 4th place. Watch Rinicella, he can get past both of these boys. Up the inside, and Teofil Nahal trying to get back into the podium. And Nahal won't let him have it. No, you don't. Ooh. Teofil Nahal absolutely determined not to let Valerio Rinicella get through. Now Valentin Klus is up to 5th. He got past Federico Rifai. Jesse Kadashkedo running 7th in front of Lindblad, Lee and Al-Azari. So Lindblad has made his way up into 8th place. He's now on the toe of Jesse Kadashkedo and Keanu Al-Azari. So Keanu Al-Azari has actually made up a really good start here and worked his way up into, let me do the math, that is 7th place, I think. So a really good run. No, sorry, that is Kadashkedo. I thought it was the Yazheed car, but it's actually Kadashkedo in the RHGP machine. Kanato Lee and Keanu Al-Azari are still right there. But look how quickly Zachary David is getting away from Lyle and Nahal. So a continued situation. Battles away through. Incident between car 8 and car 39. At turn 2, lap 1 is under investigation. That's Tarpanen and Ogachukwu. So that's going to be under investigation. Neither driver will score points the way this is going. As Tarpanen's already out, and Ogachukwu is down in 21st and under investigation for overtaking under safety car. Zachary David is sprinting away out front. He's in the 155s. Everybody else is lapping in 156s. This is Zachary David's on a silver plate. But Teofil Nahal is coming back at Noah Lyle. He wants to go for him. He had to defend valiantly to keep Rinicella behind him. So now he's really got to work hard here to throw it up the inside to take on Noah Lyle. He's been forced off the racetrack. He's gone off the road to get up the inside. Now he's going to get there. Teofil Nahal throws caution to the winds, gets in a second place in the Santilot car. Teofil Nal will not be run off the road. He dives through and in a second place. So Teofil Nal goes for it and gets the move on Noah Lyle. Valerio Vinicella is there in 4th position. 5th place for Valentin Klus, then Federico Rifai. And in 7th position, Jesse Kadashkado hanging on in front of Arvid Lindblad. And then right behind Lindblad, we've got Kanato Lee, his teammate in the high-tech machine. So as they squirt their way through the S's, Valerio Vinicella trying to close up on Noah Lyle, who really wants his first podium of the season. A really interesting situation now. Let's see if Zachary David can stretch this away any further. Certainly Teofil Nal has got himself into a very neat and tidy second place. But Noah Lyle is in 3rd in front of Vinicella. And what can Valerio Vinicella do to go for the move on Noah Lyle on the final lap? If he can get a podium while everybody else in the championship fight is down the order, that can really benefit Vinicella. He needs to spend some time closing up on the likes of Wharton and Tarpanen. And with Wharton on 70 points and Vinicella currently on 56, a 3rd place finish is going to move him to 2nd in the championship. If he gets into 3rd place, he will become the runner-up man in the championship fight. So it's important for Vinicella to get into 3rd. Last lap. Zachary David is marching away. Noah Lyle knows that Vinicella is on him like a lead balloon. Side by side. Vinicella trying to cut him across. He's done it! Vinicella into 3rd. Valerio Vinicella now gets into 3rd position, and that will put him 2nd in the championship. Advantage Vinicella. What a move from Valerio Vinicella. No chance of Noah Lyle being able to defend that one. The Italian gets through and into 3rd position, and that's going to put the Italian into 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. A brilliant move from the MP driver. Noah Lyle now has to try and defend from Klus, Rifai and Kadashkado. Lindblad is trying to get through on Jesse Kadashkado as well. He's only on course for 4 points if he stays where he is. So Lindblad is going to catch up a little, but not by much. But 4 points in the championship fight for Lindblad is actually going to put him on 58. That'll only be 3 behind Tarpanen and 12 behind Wharton, and only 13 behind Vinicella. So it's not over for Lindblad at all this year. But this man has absolutely grabbed this opportunity with both hands. Did I not say at the start of the weekend, watch for Zachary David? He has a chance. He's not going to relinquish it, and he is one to watch. He saw the chance. He took it. He rolled up his sleeves. He said, this race is mine. Nobody's going to take it from me. Out of the final turn, Zachary David wins race 3 in Q8. Absolutely terrific. Great drive. And out of the final turn, a little bit of contact between the 2 PHM teammates as they lose out there at the bitter end to James Wharton, I think that was. Wow. Incident between Noah Lyle and Teofil Nal at turn 1 is under investigation, so Nile may not be able to keep 2nd, but Zachary David for sure has kept hold of the race victory for now. It's all provisional, but Zachary David is the winner. Malta and the Philippines will both be delighted. What a result for Zachary David. Just an amazing drive. When everybody else let it fall apart at the seams, he absolutely dominated it. That is very much Zachary David's moment in the sunshine. He absolutely deserves it. It was a very tricky race. He had to soak up all the pressure, and it was always going to be very tricky. He knew just how tough it was going to be. He knew how difficult things were going to get. Teofil Nal 2nd for the moment, but that incident is under investigation, I should point out. So it's not done yet. But what was it that Rudyard Kipling said? If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, Zachary? You'll be a man, my son. He comes of age in F4 UAE Race 3 here in Kuwait Motor Town. His first win in car racing. And it was absolutely deserved. Great job. A couple of drivers overtaking on their way to the pits by the look of it. I thought they were supposed to stay in formation. But Zachary David, car number 20 for RHGP, is bringing it home in magnificent fashion. A great run from the Maltese Filipino. So there is an investigation going on for Teofil Nal and Noah Lyle. Their battle for second place on the penultimate lap. And there is 5 seconds penalty being added to Teofil Nal. He has been moved away from second place. Zachary David, though, is confirmed as the winner. That moves Valerio Rinicella to second and Noah Lyle to third. But Zachary David is the winner here in Kuwait. 3 different race winners, 3 different race teams. I love Kuwait Motor Town. This place really gives you drama. Zachary David takes Race GP's first win in F4 UAE 2023. And Noah Lyle does get the podium. Teofil Nal is penalised. So Zachary David wins from Valerio Rinicella and Noah Lyle. Valentin Klus is 4th from Federica Rafai and Jessica Nascedo. Arvid Lindblad is in 7th. Teofil Nal falls to 8th. Kanato Lee and Keanu Elazari round out the top 10. Then it's Mohammed Ibrahim and Dion Gowda from James Wharton, who storms back to 13th. No points. Noah Stromsted, Akshibora, Nicola Lacorte and James Bezique. Yuga Chukwu fights back to 18th. No points and a possible penalty coming. Alex Abakasava and Hamdar Al-Kubaisi from Jack Beaton, Matteo Quintarelli and Will McIntyre from Kai Darianani, Luciano Morano, Victoria Blocchina, Flavio Olivieri, Theo Jensen, Georgi Jodavsky and Rafael Narak. With the last runners home, Emily Dohus, the MP Motorsport car, Sebastian Murray for Cram competition, and then Alexander Bolduev, Hio Yamakoshi and Jacob Bergmeister. Well, our race winner is down with Feline Wang, Zachary David.
Hey, David, congratulations. Started from P5 and finished P1, and you must be thrilled. And tell us about it.
I mean, yeah, of course, very happy to get my first win. Yeah, they say the first win is the hardest, and yeah, it was quite hard to get this one. So, yeah.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
那么刚刚我问到 David 呢，他也是第一次拿到这个锦标赛的冠军，他也是非常的兴奋。他说第一次的冠军其实是最难的，那么也希望他在之后有一个好的成绩。Back to you guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Great work from Zachary David. They say the first win is the hardest. That must have been the hardest race of Zachary David's life. We race for the 3rd time in Kuwait. Now! Great start off the line. Good opportunity from James Wharton. No problems at all for Yuga Chukwu. Rinicella's going to run him a close second as the field knits away. Drag strip straight up towards turn 2. And already there's a big bit of banter up the front end of the field. It's side by side as Wharton goes wheel to wheel. But Yuga Chukwu is trying his best to squeeze both Wharton and Rinicella. And there's a little bit of contact. Rinicella is nudged there by one of the Mumbai Falcons. It looks like there's a little bit of contact. Rinicella is nudged there by one of the Mumbai Falcons. It looks like Tarpanen, and Yuga Chukwu's gone! Yuga Chukwu has gone off from Wharton. So, 2 big incidents. Wharton and Yuga Chukwu touch. Tarpanen and Rinicella's touched. Is under investigation for overtaking before crossing the line. That is Luciano Morano, having made the move on Kai Darianani. There's the move. It's going to be one of the cars, I think, from RHGP. But they're out of position somewhat. Mohammed, oh, and up and over the top goes Bianca Bustamante. Tangling, I'm afraid, with the R2 race Cavicel of Lena Bueller. Well, that's gone terribly wrong for Bustamante. Dual nationality, Théophile now trying to come around the outside of Noah Lyle. The Frenchman working hard, hasn't been able to get there, has got to be careful because Federico Rifai is trying to get through. Now let's have a look at that incident between Bustamante and Buehler again. You can see Bustamante going for the move, but Leonard Buehler chops across, just catches the rear wheel. Very easily done. And I'm afraid F4 UAE race 3. And so now we have had a very interesting weekend. Winners are James Wharton, Yugo Ugachukwu and Zachary David. But the championship contenders all fell by the wayside in that race. No points for Ugachukwu, no points for Wharton, no points for Tarpanen. However, there are 6 points for Arvid Lindblad and there are 18 for Valeria Rinicella, who now moves into second place in the Drivers' Championship. So when they return to Q8 in 3 days' time, they can have a little bit of a breather now, and I think they're going to need it. There could be a few drivers who are not on speaking terms tomorrow or Monday. But we're definitely going to have some excitement when the championship reignites on Tuesday morning for qualifying. And then on Tuesday afternoon, we will have the first of 3 races over the next 2 days. And then on Wednesday, we'll have race 2 and race 3. A fabulous battle in the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship, just rumbling on. 2 weekends done, and we now have a grand total of 4 different race winners. We've had Yugo Ugachukwu, Arvid Lindblad, James Wharton, and now Zachary David on the top step of the podium. Very exciting stuff from the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship, certified by FIA, and great commendation to the new promoters, Top Speed, who really have been amazing at bringing this championship to the world-class foray that it clearly stands at.
Third place, Actual Motorsport, Noah.
So for the first time on the podium, the British driver Noah Lyle gets himself to the top spot. British licence, of course, Australian by birth. And there is the number 2 man on the podium, Valerio Rinicella, still hungry for that first win, but now second in the championship. But do not take away from this first win for Zachary David. It may have been fortuitous, but he did not let it slip. And it's a great win for the Maltese Filipino on the top spot. A great performance. Australia can be happy for Noah Lyle, 3rd position for him. He runs under a British licence in this competition, but it's definitely a top podium run for the Australian. And not only does Zachary David win the race overall, but he wins the rookie trophy as well. 2nd place for Valerio Rinicella in the race, and now the championship standings as well. But it's a double triumph for Zachary David. Number 1 rookie, number 1 racer in race 3 here at Q8 Motortown. What a brilliant battle it's been here in F4 UAE. 3 very happy drivers on the podium, and they get to celebrate in style after a tough second weekend of the championship. One thing we have learned is that the championship isn't decided yet. Ugachukwu may be a far way in front, but even he can crack under the pressure. This championship isn't done. If anything, it's blown wide open. Join us again for more F4 UAE Championship action on Tuesday coming up. I'm Jake Sanson. See you then.
Yes, it's me. And no, it's not cricket. But it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between 2 teams, but many to come. It's not just between the players, but also their machines. Sweat, not in the jerseys, but in their gears. It's about the race this time. Show up to cheer for Amchi Mumbai. Yes, it's me. And no, it's not cricket. But it's the same energy. It's not between the runs, but the laps. It's not between 2